All right. I'm just waiting to see who finds us over here on YouTube. Oh, they have us with two. I don't know. I think this is just the weirdest thing. See three people waiting. Let's see. Okay. So when we go live, it's essentially, even though I schedule a stream, it's for the most part, what is it doing? It's got two. So we got to figure that one out. But otherwise, we are here. We are here. Welcome to What She Said Sports, the midday huddle. All right. So people will find us over here. So we're just going to be over here chilling until they find us because I'm not sure why that's happening. Sometimes when things are new, you have what's called like a learning curve. And I'm definitely in the curve. All right, let's see. hmm So yeah, it seemed like I should even schedule anything. All right, let's see what we have here. All right. So we have to go into YouTube while I'm live, right? And see what's going on. All right. Um, yeah, it's crazy. All right. So y'all, we just sit here waiting because I think there was actually two. We scheduled one earlier, and when we went live, it just created another one. So I have to nix that one so people can realize that we are over here. Over here. This is nuts. Okay. I don't know why it would do like that. All right. So hopefully they'll find us over here and realize that we're live over here because that's just weird. So that's something that we got to work on. So we just over here chilling until people realize, we are over here. So I don't even need to schedule at 9:30. We just gonna go live around 9:30. Okay. All right. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is we were taking a look. Hey, that's five of us. We were taking a look at the schedule for who? The Browns. And we're looking at the schedule to see, we already know, they have the visual games that they play, right? We also understand, that they have a quarterback situation where they have at least four QBs, right? So out the gate first, they have the Browns in the preseason. So this preseason, the Browns and the Panthers, and then the Eagles and the Browns. And then they have the Rams and the Browns. And then they have the Bengals and the Browns. So when we're talking about this in preseason, I want you to keep in mind, there's three preseason games. I want you to keep in mind what we said from the perspective of Shedeur Sanders, the NFL, and the Browns continuing the script of keep away with Shedeur Sanders at QB1. I maintain that they do not want you to turn on your TV, this target demographic, to turn on their TV and see two black QBs going head to head every week. So starting in the preseason, let's just assume that Shedeur is the QB1 for every game that we're discussing for this particular episode. We start with who? The Browns and the Panthers. Who are the quarterbacks? You have Shedeur Sanders, QB1, and Bryce Young, QB1. Now, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's the first game of the season. And we talked about what happened with Bryce Young and the Panthers, right? They benched him after this man was sacked excessively 60 some odd times. And he got benched. And remember, LeBron came out and everybody rallied around Bryce Young. It was like, it's not on you, bro. And it's not. And I said, what? There were several teams getting ready to execute a hostile takeover of QB1 from Cleveland that was just benched. The Heisman winner. The Heisman winner, right? So here we go. First game out the gate in the Shedeur Sanders era in Cleveland. Browns versus Panthers, Shedeur Sanders versus Bryce Young, right? And then the second preseason game looks like, and also in August, around the 16th, appears to be the Browns and the Eagles. Now, who are the QB1s? We said Shedeur is QB1 for the Browns. Who's QB1 for the Eagles? There you go. That's second game in a row. You see what I'm saying? It's a second game in a row. So Browns versus Eagles, really Shedeur Sanders QB1 versus Jalen Hurts QB1. I told y'all about Jalen's situation at Alabama, but coming into the league, they relegated him to the second round, devaluing Jalen Hurts, making him a QB2 behind another QB who got hurt, and there's Jalen Hurts, who just won the Super Bowl, by the way, and got married. Congratulations to Jalen and Bree. All right, so 2 weeks in a row. Here we go with number 3, the Rams. So Shedeur Sanders versus, is that Matt Stafford? Okay, so that's the Rams. Now, I don't ever recall hearing Shedeur be, I guess you could say, projected to the Rams. But what I do remember about the Rams is what? I remember the Rams having a battle for the most part and maintaining their QB, Matt Stafford, saying what? Yes, you can go check the market and see what's out there if you could do better. There were a few teams salivating, the Raiders, and in particular, the Giants. They would like to, now they wanted to get Matt Stafford. They were excited and they were willing to pay. Now, they wanted to save that spot. For who? They want to supposedly save that spot for Arch Manning, so they won't give Matt Stafford 2 years, or they were just going to abandon Arch Manning, but they didn't want Shedeur in that spot. So the Rams were anxious to keep their QB, rightfully so, right? And that's where he is. So technically, we would get to see Shedeur versus Matt Stafford. Then when we get to the Bengals, now this is what I would love to see. Shedeur Sanders, one of his comps, or comparable to, even in his own comparison, is to Joe Burrow. Y'all know Joe Burrow, no S for last name, is in the division as QB1 with the Browns, right? So it was either Deshaun and Joe Burrow, but now it would be, for the purposes of this, episode, QB1, Shedeur Sanders versus Joe Burrow, right? And then it moves on to the Ravens. And here we go again, third game out of 5. Shedeur versus Lamar Jackson. It was also Deshaun Watson versus Lamar Jackson. Now, the first time the Browns played in 2023, they played the Ravens. They put DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, their QB that they drafted. They put him in that game. And I'm like, why didn't you put Deshaun in that game against the Ravens? Come on now. Lamar Jackson been a top QB, top 1 or 2 since he been in the league. But they put their rookie out there. The second time the Browns in 2023 played the Ravens, they put in Deshaun Watson, and they won. Yeah, which makes me go back to what? Did you really take a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson? Because he does have a winning record as a starter. But what did I say Cleveland is guilty of? Weaponizing instability at the quarterback rotation through 7 games in 2023 for 3 black QBs who amassed what? A winning record, and handed it over to who? Joe Flacco, who came to the practice squad. That sounds just like Terrell Pryor, who's balling, and they complaining he throwing the ball too much or running the ball too much. They bench him for a what? An undrafted free agent. Joe Flacco has not played a full season since 2017, and all you hear is he should start and lead the Browns. Common sense has to prevail. So then let's move on past the Ravens to the Packers. Again, Jordan Love or Malik Willis. You see where we're going with this? So we got Shedeur versus Bryce, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Malik Willis, or Jordan Love. Pick one. Okay, so then let's move on to the Lions. Now, people are starting to believe they're hearing a scenario where Shedeur can go to Detroit. And what that does is it resets the clock. He got to go to another team, learn a new offense, and be QB2 and fight behind Jared Goff, who has 2% battery life left on his career, which is exactly what I would say that exactly what I said would happen when in the draft. I was like, they're going to do him like Geno Smith. In fact, Shedeur's comp, according to somebody, I think the NFL was Geno Smith, which is crazy. Don't get me wrong. Geno Smith is good, and people say his arm is strong. They said Shedeur is not. But that's who they comped him to, and I think they meant in terms of how they was going to treat him. That's what I think. That's my theory. Um, so if Shedeur, plays the Lions, he's playing Jared Goff, but people are starting to believe they hear rumors that Shedeur could go to Detroit. I mean, honestly, it makes sense, right? Because they need another starter. We saw what happened. And when they went to Teddy Bridgewater, they put him in. He did well. And when he got it back into position, they took him out and put Jared Goff back in. So again, this is not the first season in 2025 where you see them manipulating the quarterbacks, the black quarterbacks, so that they don't get the shine or the credit or the QB1 or become the majority. Right. So if Shedeur goes it's a no-brainer that Shedeur or somebody, Milrose, somebody could have went to the Lions, but maybe they didn't need a quarterback, even though they really need a quarterback. They didn't want to need a quarterback. Right. So there we go. We're on to the Vikings. All right. So that's what J.J. McCarthy is. Now, I have talked about this multiple times. This is where you had 3 quarterbacks, none of which were black. All of them were white. And they were all on the same team. And this is where I told y'all, notice the theory, the pattern of stacking black QBs together. So yeah, send Shedeur to Cleveland because Deshaun already black. So if Deshaun go, we just still got a black quarterback. And it's not like it's a white quarterback and a black quarterback is taking that spot. So it's not like he's going to the Rams or to the Lions and he's taking Jared Goff's spot or Matt Stafford's spot, right? Shedeur going to Cleveland was intentional, okay? It's called musical chairs and people notice that that's what's been happening. So when you talk about the Vikings, that's where they're decoupling, unstacking, or however you want to say it. They spread them out. That's what I said. So I got these 3 white QBs, but I got black QBs taking over. So let me get these 3 white QBs and put them at QB1 on these different teams. So Minnesota, Sam Darnold in Seattle, J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota, and now Daniel Jones. They had him breathing down Anthony Richardson's neck, but Anthony Richardson is now hurt. So no need to harass Anthony Richardson and threaten his job because they was trying to give the Daniel Jones anyway. So now you got it. Have fun. All right. So there you go. That's the Vikings. So we should see Shedeur against J.J. McCarthy. It should be a good game. Even though J.J. McCarthy's not a rookie, I think it will be a good game. Colorado never did get to play Michigan, so I think this is what I'm looking forward to, just to kind of see. And then we move over to the Steelers. Well, it should have been Shedeur versus Russ or Shedeur versus maybe Deshaun or somebody else. But the Steelers have been turned upside down. So it could be Shedeur versus Aaron Rodgers. I would like to see that. I'd like to see that. Especially if it's true that Aaron Rodgers said what? If the Steelers want to get Shedeur, don't pick me. I mean, I get it. But now I would love to see the head-to-head matchup. So there you go, right? So one moment. About that for a minute. Now, moving on. Let me see. Moving on, we have that's October. So it will be we gotta wait till October at 1 o'clock at a midday game to see Shedeur Sanders versus the Steelers. Let's move on to the Dolphins. Well, Tua is QB1 and Quinn Ewers, I think, might be QB2. I have not looked at their depth chart. Quinn Ewers with the UT. So I think potential Shedeur versus Tua, I'll take that. Or Shedeur versus Quinn Ewers, I'll take that too. Colorado versus UT. I finally get my matchup. Right. Then we have the Browns versus the Patriots. Now, Joe Milton was QB2 behind Drake May. So Drake May is still QB1. Joe Milton is now behind Dak Prescott. Again, stacking black QBs on the same team. So they appear to not. So you don't see two black quarterbacks playing every damn game. That's what's happening here. So the Browns and the Patriots will be Shedeur versus Drake May. I'll take that. That's also at 1 o'clock. They got the games are early. They don't have any marquee games for the most part. And then we have the Browns versus the Jets. Now I want to see that. That will be Shedeur versus Justin Fields or Shedeur versus Tyrod Taylor. Justin Fields is supposed to be QB1. We talked about Tyrod Taylor's story about having his lung punctured by a team doctor with the Chargers who still has a job. When Tyrod Taylor was supposed to be getting a routine medical injection for pain, this doctor somehow went all the way through muscle tissue, layers of skin, and everything else to his lung and punctured his lung. And that's what took him out of the QB1 position. He is suing as he should be. So I want to watch that game anyway. Then we go back to Lamar versus Shedeur potentially, or the Raiders versus Shedeur. Now, I would like to see this. This will be Geno Smith versus Shedeur, but technically it's Shedeur versus Tom Brady. So, I like to see this. This is just a fan thing here. And I want this the one time I want Geno Smith to lose. What do I want to happen? I want the Browns with Shedeur Sanders leading the way as QB1 to put a BTA on the Raiders, and y'all know why. Okay, then we got Brock Purdy versus Shedeur. I like to see it. Just like to see it. And then we have a matchup from college. The Titans versus the Browns, aka Shedeur Sanders versus Cam Ward. Number one versus number two, or friend versus friend. However you want to look at it, I'd like to see it. Miami did not get to play Colorado like I would have liked to have happened. And I think it was called the Las Vegas Bowl or Syracuse or something like that. But they were in the Pop Tart Bowl. We were in the Alamo Bowl. And I think Miami lost. And so did we. So I definitely want to see this matchup. And definitely want to see this matchup. I definitely want to see this. All right. So let's see what else. That is December. So we're rounding out, we're rounding out the season. So then we move on with 4 games left. December 14th, right before Christmas, when we're all happy, everybody's in a good mood. Some people have snow, some people just happy they have Christmas lights up. We get ready to eat some ham or some oxtails. For Christmas, I like oxtails. I do. We have oxtail dressing that is the bomb. So we get ready for that, right? And it's the Browns versus the Bears. Do y'all remember USC versus Colorado? Caleb Williams versus Shedeur Sanders. Well, here we go in the NFL. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Also at 1 o'clock when we out Christmas shopping. So I don't know when I'm gonna see it, but I would like to see this. I would like to see USC versus Colorado. I would like to see it. I would like to see it. And then we move on to what? The Bills versus the Browns on December 20th. We get a Christmas present. We get to see the number 2 QB with one hell of a $330 million bag with 60% guarantee. See that versus Shedeur Sanders. Could it be a sneak peek to a Super Bowl? Would like to see it. Like to see it. Then we have the Steelers versus the Browns again. Hopefully, Shedeur win the first one, and then we come on and make it 2-0. I'd like to see it. If everybody's not playing, guess what it's going to be? Will Howard versus Shedeur Sanders. That's the natty, right? The natty winner or participants. Yeah, Will Howard won the natty versus Colorado. That's how I look at it. I like to see it. And then we end the season. We're going back to a division game with the Browns and the Bengals. That is a rivalry. Hopefully, not Colorado. Hopefully, Shedeur take the first one, and hopefully Shedeur take the second. I'd like to see it. I would like to see it. Shedeur Sanders versus Joe Burrow. That has to be a thrill for Shedeur because he really likes Joe Burrow as a quarterback. He believes he's comparable to him. So I think that's fun growing up watching somebody play, while you in high school or college, and here you are in the NFL lining up across from them and get ready to take them down. So I would like to see it. So y'all let me know what y'all think regarding. Let me know what y'all think. Which games that you would like to see. So for me, I truly believe that The Browns versus the Bengals is one. The Titans is the other. And I love them. The Bills, I would like to see versus Josh Allen. I would definitely love to see the before New Year's, the Steelers versus the Browns for the second time. I for sure would like to see that. See all of them. See all of them. Wish to do is QB1, but we know that's not going to happen. So remember, people say, oh, he could start. So let's talk about preseason. Mary Cabot already gave a teaser and said, oh, we're going to see a lot of Shedeur, and we're going to see a lot of Shedeur and Dylan in the preseason, right? And in 2023, they did have two quarterbacks to play the preseason games, DTR and somebody we've never heard of that I have not heard of since, Mondo or somebody, or Mond. And DTR did go on to play in the regular season. In fact, he was in games playing, taking snaps with who? Flacco in the same games toward the end of the season. And I think that that's what they're doing because they know Flacco couldn't play a whole season. And then again, getting injured, it's tough. So Shedeur could end up being DTR. And what I mean by that is Shedeur is actually not a fifth round draft pick. He's an elite QB1 drafted in the fifth round. They did have DTR also come out of the fifth round and be drafted to the Browns. And he was there the 2023 season, the 2024 season. And it seems that Winston and Watson played the majority of the games. And what happened? In 2025, DTR was traded to the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for Kenny Pickett and a fifth round draft pick. And I'm like, okay. So a lot of black quarterbacks, that's their path to greatness. But now putting him behind Jalen Hurts, say instead of JJ McCarthy, it's like it's almost like burying you because we know Hurts is good. Whereas if he would have went behind McCarthy, say McCarthy got hurt, that would be DTR's path to starting, which is exactly what happened with Jalen Hurts, right? So the league is trying to find ways to hide these black quarterbacks who, or which Shedeur Sanders, number 17 in the draft, um, making the majority of the starters for all 32 NFL teams black, which is what exactly what I said. They don't want to turn on your TV and have you to see Shedeur versus Bryce, Shedeur versus Jalen, Shedeur versus Lamar, Shedeur versus Jordan Love or Malik Willis. They don't really want you to see that. They like, okay, that's just a lot. And that's not what they anticipated. And is it right for them to do that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's terrible. And I don't think they would ever say it out loud. So um that's why you have a lot of musical chairs here. And to me, let's say Shedeur and Dylan plays in the preseason, right? There's three games. The Browns and the Panthers, the Browns and the Eagles, and the Rams and the Browns. Which games do you think they'll start Shedeur? And you gotta think strategically when it comes to these people, because we're not actually trying to get to the Super Bowl. Just trying to play keep away at QB1 with Shedeur. So would they give him the harder games, or would they give him the games that you really not gonna get a chance to see? Browns versus Panthers is prime time, 7 p.m. on August the 8th. I think that's a Friday. Is it Friday? I don't know. Because this is how you have to think. So let's see. August 8th on a Friday. I guess I'm just gonna ask. What day is August 8th, 2025? I didn't ask that question. Let's see. It's 8th. I just want to know what day it is. Okay. What weekday is it? And not holiday. What weekday? Here's a calendar. All right, here we go. I guess somebody will show me. I said this is simple to say money. I bet it's like a okay, never mind. That's a template. So let me see if somebody in the chat know what it is. Hey everybody, I would like to see Shedeur versus Cam. Me too. I would as well. There are 37 of us here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So Ayaba said Shedeur versus Cam. Hey Jared, it said definitely would like to see Shedeur versus Cam. Me too. So see, that's the game. Freeman Harris, hey fam, how you doing? And Gracie holding it down as a moderator along with Tuna. Thank y'all so much. And Jerry, thank y'all so much. Um, So yeah, so far Shedeur versus Cam. All right. Now, with that being the case, August 8th, whatever day that is, they have a game at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's a primetime game, in my opinion. Even August 8th on a Thursday or a Friday is better than a Sunday at 1 p.m. So let's say that that's considered a primetime game. Let's say that's Thursday night football. It would be a marquee preseason game. And people say they don't watch preseason. I do. Because if you like football, you can watch it all. You don't care who playing. And I'm the same thing with basketball for the most part. So Panthers and Browns, Shedeur should get that one because that's the marquee game, and it's not about winning or losing. But they might give that one to Dylan. And then there's the Eagles versus the Rams. So I say give Dylan Matt Stafford and give Shedeur Jalen Hurts versus Bryce Young. And here's why. Here's why. We know Shedeur is the better quarterback. So give him the two games. You can rotate him throughout, but let him play the majority of those games and then let Dylan play the majority of the Rams game and sub in Shedeur when necessary. And then, so they said they want, what's his name? Flacco to start the first 7 games, right? People in Pittsburgh already know Aaron Rodgers don't have more than 8 games in him. So I don't know why they think Flacco got more than 7. That's why I think they say give him the 7 first and let him out the way and let Shedeur close the season. But your closer is your best person, right? So instead of 2 quarterbacks, it technically should be Shedeur. But let's just look at who it is Flacco would have to play. So in the regular season, first game, he's up against the Bengals and the Browns. Do the Bengals have a hell of a defense? Are they a physical team when it comes to defense, like the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl? If so, that ain't the game for him. Because in 2023, he already took a Pat Mahomes like hit in the Super Bowl, and he wasn't available for the most critical game. So they're going to have to be strategic where they have Flacco starting. It's going to have to be teams that have a lackluster defense. See, this is how you have to think. You have to be strategic in a good way. They not in a good way. It's for maliciousness. I'm doing it in a good way so we can use common sense here. And that's what I'm thinking. So you say Joe Flacco, Bengals versus Browns. Just like DTR played some snaps, Shedeur should play some snaps in that game. They might let Dylan play snaps in that game. Then again, they might start that game with Kenny Pickett. Browns versus Ravens, I want to see Shedeur. And just like they did DTR, they threw him into the fire when they had Deshaun Watson right there, who won the second meeting with the Ravens and the Browns. But I think Shedeur can get it because Shedeur is not a 5th-round draft pick. And I'm not saying that DTR was either. Know him. I don't know his history. Shedeur is an elite first-year starter, first-round QB that was pushed unjustly to the 5th round out of maliciousness. All right, so Shedeur Sanders and the Ravens, but they might give that game to Flacco because that's just a big marquee game, and or not, they might give it to Kenny Pickett. So when it comes to the Packers, um, again, I should see Shedeur in all of this, but that's Flacco playing against the Bengals. Flacco's playing against the Ravens, the Packers, and let's see who else. Who else will he be playing against? The Lions. And so they said 7 games for him. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 are Flacco, the Bengals, Ravens, Packers, Browns, and Vikings. Okay. And then we have what? So that's in August. Yeah, that's in August. So let's see who else we have. Then we have, that's 5. So we need 2 more. So then he played the Steelers and the Dolphins. And then they're saying hand it over to Shedeur for these teams. Now listen to this. They're saying Shedeur should start in October on the 25th or 26th versus Drake May and the Patriots, Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor in the Browns, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens the second time, the Raiders versus the Browns, okay? The 49ers, Brock Purdy versus Shedeur, and Cam versus Shedeur. So that's what they're saying. Give that to Shedeur. I'm cool with that. We're going to come back and talk about this stretch for Shedeur, starting with the Patriots. win or loss. The Patriots versus Drake May versus Shedeur. Let's just say Justin Fields versus Shedeur. Lamar Jackson versus Shedeur game, the second game of the season. The Raiders versus, so that's Shedeur. And then the Browns, and then the Titans. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he should have one more. So let's see what the second one is. Okay, the last two. All right. Then we go to the now. There's 4 games left. They said he should play the last 7, but they must be to the end of the season because that's 5. 6 and 7 would be Caleb Williams versus Shedeur Sanders, and then Josh Allen versus Shedeur. All right. And then there's still 4 games left. So maybe they go with somebody else. I don't know. Steelers versus Browns. Or they bring Flacco back, or they let Kenny start, or maybe Dylan. Steelers versus Browns, Browns versus Bengals, Bears versus. But should be carry the stretch of these games. So 5 plus 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Shedeur will be 11, and Flacco will be 7. So there's 18 games now. So anyway, that's what it looks like it comes up to be. So there you go. So Shedeur will carry the last half of the season. That's what people are suggesting, the media. Again, I'm with it because why? I want to see what that O-line do. If they consistent with Flacco, I expect consistency along with Shedeur. And if now, here's the thing. If Flacco goes through 7 games, now remember, he was 4-1 when he played in 2023 with them. Came off the practice squad. Flacco was actually on the practice squad. And he's supposed to be the 3rd string QB on the current depth chart for Cleveland. So I don't know what the hell they got going on because they clearly don't believe in Kenny Pickett because Kenny Pickett is sharing a locker. Flacco is sharing a locker with Jerry Jeudy. They had at least 3 players mic'd up in Cleveland. Flacco, Jeudy, and somebody I don't know. If Shedeur had been drafted number 2, it could have been Shedeur and Flacco and Jerry Jeudy. So while Kenny Pickett is first on the depth chart, they have clearly seen something that makes them think Flacco is their starter. And we know Shedeur is better than Flacco. So Kenny Pickett might be the one traded. And Dylan too. But I don't know if they're gonna go to just 2 QBs. So and they're supposed to be getting another wide receiver. So I guess they've seen enough to invest in a wide receiver from Shedeur. Flacco can throw the ball just as well too. So what do y'all think about that? Based on the teams that you've seen, we all know we want to see Shedeur versus Cam. We want to see Shedeur versus everybody for obvious reasons. And I think it would be good because Shedeur is a fun, exciting QB to watch. So is Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, etc. Right? So I think the season could be good if Cleveland get the hell out their own way. If Cleveland gets the hell out their own way, everybody gonna want to watch the Browns. But then a lot of people gonna want to watch the Titans too, and a lot of people gonna want to watch who? Travis down in Jacksonville. And if Cleveland was smart and the NFL didn't interfere, which they likely did, they would have had what? The dynamic duo from Colorado and Cleveland together, and everybody would be watching that. But that's probably why they split them up. I think it was Blue Moon actually pointed out the fact that she feel like they intentionally split them up because they knew how dynamic they were in college together and how much attention they fostered, even though they weren't a 12 playoff team. Colorado's Alamo Bowl was the most watched bowl game for a non-playoff team. Take that dynamic duo, Travis and Shedeur, and put them on the Cleveland Browns. Everybody's watching Cleveland. So then they split them up. So a lot of us gonna watch Jacksonville, and a lot of us are gonna watch Shedeur. And a lot of us gonna watch Cam some kind of way. And I'm gonna be watching Milrow too, right? I'm probably gonna want to see what Quinn Ewers does down in Miami and Will Howard, who won the Natty, right? So it was strategic nonetheless. It seemed like it's 18 games. They want Flacco to start out with 7. Mary Kevin suggested that, we could see Shedeur and Dylan. And you know what? They know how to weaponize instability at the QB rotation. And we're going to figure it out, and we're going to see it early in the preseason games. In my opinion, If Shedeur not struggling and he played the first game against the Panthers, just let it ball. Because that's what fans want to see. But it wouldn't surprise me if they medal and said, well, yeah, you're doing good, but come on, let me go ahead on. And that's what they did before in 2023. That's exactly what they did. So they know how to weaponize instability at the QB position to keep one person from getting the shot. And this is a factor that you have to consider now that you see the goal is to keep Shedeur Sanders away from 17 to 32 or QB1. I don't care what number it is. In the draft, it was 17 to 32, and they succeeded holding it off at 16 with Cam when it comes to black QBs. And it was supposed to be a historic moment, but they made sure that history didn't take place. So now it's the regular season and the preseason, and we done with the draft. And we still see them trying to hold Shedeur back, right? So now that we look at the schedule, and you can see three preseason games, Shedeur and Dillon could likely play. Then we have Flacco starting the front seven and Shedeur carrying the last 11. What are your thoughts about that? Like, do you think that Shedeur should just play the first preseason game all the way through, or Dillon should play the first preseason game all the way through? What's your thought about the preseason? And then what's your thought about the dynamic of Flacco with the first 7 teams that we just discussed? And Shedeur basically playing round 2 with the same teams, plus a few more, like the Bills, with the last 11. Flacco 7, Shedeur 11. Let me know your thoughts. There's 44 of us in here. Thank you so much. August 8th is a Friday. Thank you. I would like to see Shedeur Cam. Me too. And then it says Shedeur versus Caleb. Okay, so you like Shedeur versus Caleb. I get that one too. Like I said, I see the college matchups happening that didn't happen or I wanted to happen, like the Titans versus Cam, Quinn Ewers, if he gets to play, versus Tua. Quinn Ewers or Tua versus Miami. I definitely want to see Joe Burrow. I definitely want to see the Bengals. Y'all know yesterday I always have on Bengals sweatshirt. Definitely look forward to that one too. So yeah, it said August 8th is a Friday. Thank you, Freeman. I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that. And thank you, Ayaba. Thank you too for letting me know it's a Friday. So Friday at 7 p.m. seems better to me than Sunday at 1. What do y'all think? I think the Friday at 8 o'clock game, that's the summertime, is better than Sunday at 1. Any thoughts on that? So make sure y'all hit the like button for me. I see Gracie holding it down, asking to make sure y'all hit the like button. There are 44 of us, and we're 38 minutes in. So, that's what we wanted to talk about today. The schedule, for the most part, it kicks off on a Friday, August 8th. And I think a lot of people believe that, Shedeur will be back in Cleveland. He did say thank you for an opportunity, maybe, and it is an opportunity, and to me, that was directed at God, because that's where the opportunity comes from. And it's good that he knows that, and if I know how he moves, he's like, I'm happy to go back to Cleveland, but if they're not happy to have me, I'm happy to go somewhere else. So we're going to see if they use that waiver wire. Some people are now accusing the Browns of holding Shedeur back while exploiting him so they can make money. That's being said. So, there's a lot to look at here. First and foremost, we want to ask God to protect Shedeur Sanders, but we see God protecting Shedeur Sanders. So that means God knows exactly what's going on. So Shedeur's going to be fine. The question is it going to be in Cleveland or not? I heard they have mandatory camp next week, I think, or maybe the end of this week. So we'll follow up with that. And, Ayaba said she agreed with me that 7 o'clock on a Friday is better than 1 o'clock on a Sunday for a game. So the question is, who's going to start the first preseason game? And are they going to rotate them every quarter, or are they just going to go on and let them ball out? And if Shedeur's balling out, are they going to keep meddling and take him out the game? Just like when he was balling out in OTAs, they moved him to a field we couldn't see. He didn't get the reps with the starters. And some people believe that he's going to play in the preseason if he's still there, and that not the regular season. But you see people are calling, let Flacco start I'm like, yes, because I want to see what that O line do. And let Shedeur carry the last 11. Even though people realize that there's 11 games after Flacco takes 7. But see, Flacco hadn't played a whole season. So actually asking Flacco to play 7 games, that's because you know that's what he could do. And that's crazy. And nobody's saying let Kenny Pickett take any. So that's why I say they go all the way around the corner just to get just across the street, to prevent Shedeur from becoming QB1. So we will see if it continues when preseason starts. We're going to see how that goes. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be watching it. I'm excited for the matchups. I'm excited for the matchups from college. I'm excited for the Bengals. I'm excited for the Ravens. I'm excited, for the Dolphins. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see them play the Eagles. Definitely. I definitely want to see that. So I like the way their schedule looks. I do. I just hope that by then they get the hell out their own way and let QB1, Shedeur Sanders, do his thing. Because they could win. They could really win. It said preseason game format suggestion. Okay, Freeman. It said I prefer Shedeur and Dylan play one half each against the same defense. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. So like Shedeur start the game and Dylan close it out. Okay, I like it. What do y'all think about that? Please hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. Thank you so much. And I do like that, Freeman. Thank you so much. That's a good perspective. So let Shedeur start the first half, or they all play each half. I guess they'll figure out who start and who close. But they play each half in the preseason. I like it. That's a good suggestion. For the first game that's on a Friday night. Take advantage of that marquee time. Let them both play a half. But the question is, if Dylan starts and he balling, do they just automatically go to Shedeur? Does it become about winning the game? Or does it become about, is it more important to let us see and give them the opportunity to play in a real live game so they can, one, get comfortable on an NFL level, and two, get the jitters out if so, and three, let them flex their skills and show, who's the best, because that's still a competition. So I do like that. I do like that, Freeman. And thank you, Jerry, for holding it down on the likes. Mandatory minicamp for the veterans is June 10th through the 12th. Okay, Ayaba, do the rookies have to be there? That's only 2 days. Maybe the rookies get 2 days off. I don't know. In comparison of the skill set. Okay, so that's what the preseason is for. I like that suggestion. And that might be what we see. Because I want to see Shedeur one quarter and Dylan the next and Shedeur this. I don't want to see that. That's just instability. I like the fact that you get a half and you get a half for the very first game. And the question is now, do they look at the first game and go, well, you know what? Shedeur did really good, so let's let him start the second one and let's let Dylan close. Because then think if Shedeur starts the first game and then Dylan does the second half, if they both are good, do you keep the same rotation for the next game? Or if one has a better game than the other one, and that's the person that starts the second game, and then the other one closes it just to give him time to get his feet, planted on the ground. That's what I think makes sense. But I do like the half strategy. So thank you for that. And then we get to see their skill set, and then the team gets to see their skill set. And that will be the first time that Cleveland would have done anything that is about skill. That's exactly would be the first time that they have made any decision on skill, because Shedeur already blew it out the water in OTAs and he came out of college pro ready. And that's another narrative that I'm starting to hear. It should have been said in the draft. And actually it was. So now it's being repeated from the draft. Shedeur is pro ready. It was said multiple times. Shedeur is the most pro ready QB in the NFL draft. So that's what it would be about. So, but thank y'all for that. This was good. This was good looking at the schedule. So we're gonna get ready to get out of here. We'll be back at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. It might be 9:35. I just kind of like the 12:05, 4:05, 9:35. Don't ask me why, but it's something I like. So when you see it start at the 5, then that's just me doing my thing. So we'll probably be back at 9:30, 9:35. Turn your notifications on. We just gonna check and see what's going on today. If not, I already got topics lined up to next week, so we're gonna grab one of those. Um, but this is good. This is good. So now I'm getting excited to see Shedeur play with Cleveland, and I think many of us are starting to walk comfortably, believing that he'll be there. You know, the next fight is: are y'all gonna let him start, or y'all gonna keep getting in your own way? Right. Yeah. So thank you. We're gonna get out of here. Ayaba said all of the players are required to come to the mandatory camp for all 3 days. Okay. Well, thank you, Ayaba. That's good. Okay. I like that. Okay. Okay. So we'll see Shador. We'll see Travis. And I mean he's not on the honeymoon yet. Uh, and we'll see Cam. We'll see Miro. I am going to try my best to find out what the hell is going on in Seattle. Hear tidbits every now and then, unless I go make the point to look, and I'm probably gonna do that. So we probably gonna try to start rolling in some of these other quarterbacks, since it might be possible that Shador is on the 53-man roster or goes through preseason or will be there through preseason. So we can, we can start to incorporate other people into the conversation. All right. Great show today. Oh, thank you, Freeman. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your support too. Thank you. All right, y'all. We see y'all tonight at 9:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Turn your notifications on. If any breaking news come out, I will return. So thank y'all. This was awesome. Thank you for the midday huddle. We'll be back tonight. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good day ahead. Thank you.